Today we are talking about the brand new cycle announcement for Lord of the Rings, the card game. Now, I know we haven't talked about Lord of the Rings in a while, but I wanted to get back on it a little bit and talk a bit about it because I think this new cycle is going to interest a lot of people, and I think a lot of people are going to be pretty excited and pretty happy for it. Maybe not the people that had the old stuff, and we'll get into that in a second, but at least for the new people that are just getting into this game, this is a good cycle. This is a really good cycle coming up. So let's go take a look at the game and talk a bit about it. All right, so the first thing worth noting is that the Angmar cycle was the last one to get reprinted, and they did the new repackaged one. So they went through it, and now they are doing the Dream Chaser cycle, which is the next in line if you go by like the order of their release. So it looks like most likely after Dream Chaser, they'll probably do Herodrim. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Arid Mithrin, and then the Vengeance in Mordor is what I would guess. They were all pretty popular cycles, but this cycle, especially when you got into the game before the repackaging, this was the cycle that everyone kind of talked about as being either the best or second best cycle, and also the one that like brought a lot more life back into the game. Now, it's not to take away from Angmar Awakens at all. I think that's a very good cycle, but it was kind of like this really standout, unique cycle overall. So let's go through the product page just a little bit. I won't read through all of this. We'll just talk about some important notes from it to discuss a little bit. So first off, it's going to be, I think my head's kind of in the way, another kind of expensive cycle, $70 and $45, combined for the whole thing. There were some decent heroes that come out of here, some interesting ones. I don't think they were as good as some of the other boxes, but they weren't bad, right? But there's some interesting stuff. To me, the actual campaign expansion is the most interesting part of this. But all right, so we're not going to read through all of this, but this is kind of like the boat version of the game, right? You're sailing around on ships basically, and they do some interesting and cool mechanics. This, I believe, MJ, if I remember correctly, from Arkham Horror, designed the original core expansion box. So like when you bought it back in the day, the smaller box, and then there were 6 adventure packs afterwards. The original box had like 2 or 3, I think it was 3 campaigns in it. I think MJ designed those, or maybe the one right after. I don't remember which, so don't quote me on it, but she did a fantastic job. Regardless, she did a fantastic job. It was one of the first times I really got to see like MJ's design really shine through because I hadn't gotten to Arkham Horror yet. I talk about all this stuff. Now, one of the things I want to point out right here is this note. This is an important note. For longtime fans of Lord of the Rings, the card game, who already own everything from the Grey Havens, hey, that's me, and the original Dream Chaser cycle, only the campaign cards in the campaign expansion will be new content in these products. As with the revised core set and the Angmar Awaken campaign expansion, these campaign cards will be made freely available on our website as a print and play content upon the campaign expansion's release. Now, we'll see in a little bit. This is a lie. This is just a straight up lie. And I'm going to guess this is just a boilerplate that they put and they work off of a template and they didn't update this part of it because this is not true. And we'll get into that in a little bit. One thing I would quick to note with this too is I don't want print and play. I don't. I don't like print and play type stuff, especially with campaign things and especially with the other stuff that they're putting here. Just sell me the cards, right? Just sell a separate pack. And if they do it at the very end, right? If they do it at the very end and they say, hey, for everything that we re-released for Lord of the Rings, here's all the stuff, and we just wanted to make one pack so we didn't have a bunch of SKUs, that's cool too. So I'll hold out hope for that. I don't think it will happen, but I'll hold out hope. Just sell it to me. Let me give you my money. Like, I don't want to print and play this stuff. So anyway, I know that's like a weird personal note, and I know some people are like happy to print and play, and that's cool, but give me the option to give you money, or have Game Center do it or something. So the first thing they're going to go into is the player cards, right? So they talk about include 2 new heroes for each of the 4 spheres, which is pretty cool. We have to get into Serdan. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, the shipwright. This was one of the more interesting heroes to come out of here because you can draw an additional card at the beginning of the resource phase, but then you have to get rid of one, but it helps get through your cards a bit faster. And this is one of the tougher things in Lord of the Rings is like, if the card you really need is further down, it takes a while to get to it. Now, if you deplete your deck, that's not good either, but So they go into different heroes and talk about all of them. I'm trying to think if there were other major standout heroes. Denethor, I remember a bit. Wasn't bad with adding the extra resource, which was kind of nice. But I just remember Serdan, there's a lot of good builds using Serdan that's pretty interesting. So they get into this. Allies and attachment, many of them are the Noldor theme. So you'll be able to do a lot more Noldor decks. I don't know if anything released at this point really does a ton with Noldor. I'm sure there is some, but I don't think there is a ton. You talk about the compass, which makes sense. You'll be doing a bunch of stuff. Then you get all the allies for Noldor. Sea Watcher's a pretty good one from what I remember. It's been a while since I made a Noldor deck, so I don't fully remember. I talk about the campaign. The campaign takes all the scenarios from the Green Havens and the original Dream Chaser cycle, the adventure packs, and strings them together to form an epic tale. And it is a really cool story. It's a really cool tale and story that you do, and it's very, very well done. After journeying to the Grey Havens, the heroes are swept up on the voyage island Numenor to discover what lies there. All this fun stuff throughout the 9 scenarios of the Dream Chaser campaign. You and your party will sail across the ocean, and this is cool. You're in a boat, right? And there's boat stuff you could do, which is really, really cool. You'll have to contend with the Corsair deck. This is a special deck entirely made of seafaring enemies, which does get pretty complicated and pretty hard, but it is pretty cool. And whatever. Now, one of the first things that jumped out to me was this picture. Because if you are a fan of the old game, this picture makes no sense to you, and we'll get into why in a second. So that's right. In the campaign, each player gets their very own ship to control, which is pretty cool. These powerful objective cards can provide much-needed boons during your sea voyage, which includes fighting off enemy ships, right? So in addition to Dream Chaser, which is required in each playthrough, each one can choose to play the Dawn Star. Let me go check the old cards really fast. All right, Dream Chaser, Dawn Star, sweet. The Duskbringer. I don't remember that one. That's interesting. Glorinath, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, and I apologize. That's not in the original thing. The Narlina, which is, and Silver Wing, which is as well. It's over down here. That's 6 ships in total, 2 more than the original release. Interesting. I guess we're already deviating from this. Now, the argument could be that, they're just lumping in part of the campaign, which I would believe you until later on in this article, but we'll get into that a little bit, because generally those aren't campaign cards in the sense that they've been using in the past. So they also go on to say the new ships aren't the only things unique to this expansion. You'll also find a plethora of new campaign cards, including upgrades for your ship, such as armor plating, which looks cool, or a ballista, also looks cool. However, you can also upgrade the ships themselves, flipping them over to stronger versions, which I don't think this was a thing in the original game. Okay, I just had to double check to make sure that this wasn't a thing because I couldn't remember since it's been a while since I played this cycle. No, this is not a thing in the original game. I had to double check. All right, so they continue. How do you upgrade your ships? By spending experience. This is a new mechanic for Lord of the Rings, the card game, introduced in this repackaged expansion, which seems weird to introduce it now, but sure, whatever. Each scenario awards a certain amount of XP depending on what conditions were met on the scenario campaign card. You can spend to upgrade your ship, upgrade the aforementioned armor plate and ballista and other modifications, boons, and other modifications. I'm sorry, I'm reading that wrong. And other boons as well, such as a handy spyglass. Right, there it is. Pretty cool. Or the mysterious black key, which is also interesting. Just be sure to watch out for the burdens that will also follow you on, from one scenario to the next, such as the Corsair Crowley, which this looks a lot like the design of the Nightmare Pack, which maybe that's what they're doing here. I can't really remember, which is interesting. I have to relook at the Nightmare Packs, but I don't remember if that was in there or not. Or the Ominous Fate. Again, looks like a Nightmare Pack card. I wonder if they're going to shove those in. That'd be interesting. Reminder, if you already own the original Dream Chaser cycle, the new campaign cards, upgradable player cards, and all ship cards, including the new upgrade sides, will be available as print and play content on our website after the campaign expansion's release. Friendly reminder, in case you don't remember the beginning of this video, for longtime fans who already own anything, only the campaign cards and the campaign expansion will be the new content in these products. All right, cool. And that's basically it. That's kind of what they talk about at the end here. Wait, where was I? There we go. And the reminder, and then it's all coming out later this summer. So as of overall thoughts about this expansion, because I know a lot of people are going to be wondering, where do I start? Where do I go? I still think Angmar Awakens makes sense to start with. I think the new cycles for the Saga boxes, I think make a lot of sense getting into. This one is a pretty hard cycle, but it is one of the more unique cycles. So if you're excited to jump in, probably you can get away with just having the hero packs and then using this, because Noldor is kind of not completely self-contained, but it's very contained in this box, right? You can build some decent decks out of this box and probably the other hero packs. I would have to go through them again. Uh, but this is a really good cycle. This is a really fun cycle. It's not, I don't think it's my favorite. I think it's number 2 for me. I think I like the Herodrim cycle more, but it's a toss up, right? They're both very, very good. So I'm excited for the next cycle, assuming that they do that one, the Sands of Harad and all that fun stuff next. I assume they will. But this is a very good cycle. So if you're looking for a time to jump into Lord of the Rings, the card game, this is probably it, I would say. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I think we'll do more Lord of the Rings content in the future, but if you made it this far, do me a huge favor, hit subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I really appreciate it. And if you like this video, also give it a like, because that'd be cool too, and that'd be pretty fun. See y'all next time.